guys, I'm Chez Pride, and today we are back with another Sims News related video where I'm going to explain this week's mess of content rollouts when it came to the Sims 4 and the marketplace that just came out, everything that came beside it, and basically why I waited over a week to finally update my game and actually play it. So far from what I have seen, the game is somewhat fixed when it came to what broke this time around, but man, was it a journey to get there. So let's jump into the rollout of the marketplace, how their way to bringing CC into the game officially broke the free CC and then the game. And then after we go over everything, I'm going to open my game for the first time with you guys with my games having their regular mods and just see what happens. All my mods are updated. My game is fully updated. And I just want to see if the game runs smoothly, and then we'll take a look at the marketplace, because even though I'm never going to personally use the marketplace and I don't really think you should support the marketplace, even though it's up to you, it's your choice, but if I were you, I wouldn't support the marketplace. I am just a little curious what it looks like when you open it, so I am going to open it and just see and make sure the game is running to the point where you can at least open up, create a sim, make a sim, and save them and load into a game and load into the marketplace, because basically at one point you couldn't really even load into your game, like you just got a error file. But before we get into that, let's get into what led up to it. So let's start at the very beginning where all of this started, which was the release of the marketplace. So on March 17th, 2026 is when all of this mess started. And basically the marketplace came into the game just like you would imagine a regular game feature to come in. So we had a big patch update. It came with bug fixes. It came with a couple of minor, bigger features as well, and then the marketplace and the maker packs being the major feature. Well, I'm not going to get into all the details of what the marketplace is, especially since I'm going to look at it later, but if you do want to read an article or see me read an article, there's a video of me reading it, but this is the article that kind of talks about what the marketplace and the maker packs are and what the maker program is. And all of this content is either on Instagram, Sims Community, or the EA websites. But specifically this one, and talking about exactly what it is called Introducing the Sims Maker Program and the Sims 4 Marketplace. But I will just basically sum it up. So basically they are changing the way that you buy content now. For what I understand, there are going to be no more expansion packs, game packs, stuff packs coming out, and you can still buy those with cash, but also through the marketplace with Moolah, which is the new in-game currency that is just way overpriced. They basically have the kits and now the maker packs, and you can only from now get kits and maker packs, which are the only things that they will be releasing from now on through the marketplace with Moolah. And like I said, you have to purchase the Moolah, and it's like an in-game currency, and it just ends up being way overpriced, and you always end up having more left over but not enough to get anything, so you're always wanting to buy more. It's just a whole concept of them getting more money out of you, and I don't really appreciate it. Like I said, I am going to open my game and look at it, but I will probably never buy anything off the market. No, I will never buy anything off the marketplace. I don't support the marketplace. I'm just curious what it looks like. When they came out with this whole marketplace thing, they marketed it as the custom content creators getting to make content and it be in the game, quote, safely, and where everyone could get it. So not just Mac and PC players, but also console players, because console players could never get the content beforehand. So that is kind of like what they tried to lure you in with. And the fact that, you know, the makers were supposed to be getting paid. Well, the whole controversy here is one, besides the Moolah just being overpriced, the creators actually only get 30% of the revenue. So they make the entire pack. They are actual people that know how to make content. They go and use the tools and the programs that the Sims team gives them, makes the content, and the Sims team does none of the work. All they have to do is market it and put it out there, and yet the makers are only getting 30%. So that is just a big ick. Like, that is the number one reason I don't support the marketplace, honestly. Like, even when I was being picky about buying kits, I was normally mainly buying the creator kits because I was trying to support the creators because I felt like they deserved it. But honestly, this is just too much. Like, 30% is nothing, like, whatsoever. I feel like also from what I can tell with the marketplace, pretty much the people who were brought in, like the custom content creators that were brought in, you know, under the terms like, hey, you know, come make content and you can get money for it and people can see your content with your name on it and it doesn't matter what device it is, which sounds great, but they didn't tell them like how much they would be getting, and that those details weren't really official, and they didn't know how bad the marketplace was going to be. And a lot of them like are either stepping down or at least being like, I'm sorry I joined this, but I have to stick with it. And for those who were brought in like that, I can kind of understand and feel kind of bad for them, because I feel like EA specifically kind of manipulated them into the maker program from the reaction that the maker program or marketplace people are reacting, and the ones that are dropping out are like telling on their full stories and like kind of showing the dark side of EA a little bit if you want to go research that. But if you will notice that the ones that haven't left the program aren't like really saying exactly what's going on, which kind of gives the feeling that they're under a contract where they can't talk about details. I really do just like hate that for them. Now, anyone that joins the maker program after the actual program was released and all this information came out, I kind of like don't understand. Like, I guess if they're really desperate for money and maybe they didn't fully understand the concept, or I guess if they didn't care, I guess. But I just don't feel like it's right. And I feel like creators have like Patreon and stuff like that. So I would rather creators get supported that way, where EA gets none of their money. I like the idea of them getting to put their content out there. They should be getting paid for more of it. So with that, basically, there has been a couple of weird things besides that whole they only get 30% thing. Basically, right after the marketplace came out, like 48 hours afterwards, they started changing the prices on certain packs to where they were a little bit cheaper without saying anything, and then like not refunding the people who bought it before they switched the price, which is really sketchy. I just didn't like that. And they gave no reason why they actually changed the price, and that really set off people, even the people that were buying content, because they're like, oh, well, now the price can change without us even saying that, and the moolah is overpriced anyways. And it's to the point that it actually got cracked. So basically, someone went and bought all of the content off the marketplace and put it to be pirated. Now, I'm not saying go pirate it, because, you know, there is the chance of viruses and whatnot. I also just feel like I can't say that on camera, even if that is or isn't something I do. It's just hilarious that people hated this so much, because like most people are hating this marketplace from what I'm understanding. Like, I don't think many people are in agreement to it at this point, especially since more information has been released and they started doing sketchy things and whatnot. The fact that the Sims team was trying to get around people downloading custom content into their game without giving them money, and it's all been pirated, to where people don't have to pay money for it. It's just so funny. I mean, I couldn't get over that. That was hilarious. That's kind of the whole mess that happened. So basically, we had the big patch with everything, and then we had the emergency fix that broke the game, and then we had the other emergency fix that apparently fixed the game and the custom content, but most people did have to update their mods that were broken, even though they were saying, hey, it's on our end. Then they fixed, they're like, oh, we'll make sure to fix your mods and update your mods. And that was just the whole mess of the marketplace. But before we jump into actually looking into the marketplace, I do want to go ahead and read over the patch notes for the first patch, because there is not only the marketplace but all of the stuff as well as a bunch of bug fixes. And then we'll go over a couple of other news that came out during this time of all this chaos, and then we'll jump into the game and test it out and see if my game crashes. So this is the Bug Bash and Maker Packs. So Social Simmers, this update delivers the marketplace to PC and Mac players with console coming soon. Oh, so they even made console wait. They don't even have it. It's been a week. Maybe they do have it up for console now, but at the first release, of course, console didn't get it. Even though the whole point of this was that console could get custom content. Okay. It includes more than 60 quality of life bug fixes and improvements, many of which address top voted issues from the community. Alongside these fixes, we've made several adjustments to Sims autonomy, targeting behaviors such as Sims socializing with strangers, excessively flirting, and obsessively using certain objects. Jump in, explore the marketplace, and enjoy The Sims 4 with a host of fixes and improvements designed to enhance your every game day gameplay experience. Happy simming. So what is new? As mentioned, this release introduces the marketplace to PC and Mac players, with console coming soon. Fully integrated into The Sims 4 with culture collections and improved discovery tools to help you find creations to match your playstyle. Learn more about the makers and on the marketplace here, which just brings you back to this first article we talked about. And that's really all they say about the marketplace on here. Like I said, I will jump into the game and show it off there, but I've pretty much already explained everything else besides just going into the game and looking at it. So let's move on to the other feature we have here. So it says Pack Select has been relocated from the game option menus and can now be found under My Collections within the marketplace. This allows you to select the content you want to play with in your saved game, as well as the ability to manage the storage of the marketplace download content, which includes the maker packs and newly purchased kit content directly within the game. So if you didn't know, basically this is actually ironically something else that broke the game. So maybe a year ago now, if even, they came out with this feature where you could disable packs within the game, and it made it to where all you had to, or supposedly all you had to do, was select the packs you want to uninstall them, and then reload the game, and you would have content removed. But it was breaking save files, and they basically had to be like, okay, well, if you remove content, don't open any save files that use that content. And they basically had to fix it a couple of times because it started like crashing people's games when they were trying to remove like all the content to make it like base game, which they should have totally been able to do in the first place. That's obviously what most people would want it. But anyways, they moved that whole feature to the marketplace, so you have to do it in the marketplace, and it shows basically where you can organize here packs, and it'll be show all, show own, show base game, show recommended. So it'll also show the ones that you don't own apparently, and then you can check what you want in the game. So that's interesting that they put it there. Also, the way that they did the drop down menus looks quite different. But that's the only other minor big thing that they put up besides the marketplace in the maker packs was just this way to now do the removing of packs in the marketplace, so you can select what packs you want to play with if you only want to play with like a limited pack thing or something. But other than that, we just have a bunch of bug fixes. Let's go ahead and read the top most voted 5 bug fixes. So, extensive updates to ensure that Sims eye blinking will now fully close eyes for most interactions. So apparently they weren't blinking all the way. Interesting. And now prom will once again appear on calendars. This has been a problem that's been going on. Well, really it's been like the prom hasn't been working, but now it's just like not even showing up. But apparently it's fixed. And again, as I've said in the past, when it comes to bug fixes and things they're quote fixing in the game, we kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, because sometimes it doesn't actually fix it. Sometimes it'll break again later, and sometimes it just doesn't change anything. So basically, the next one is we fixed an issue where pets and horse data being lost in pre-made households. This issue will no longer occur in new saves, and you have to have cats and dogs and horse ranch for this, obviously. And then we've implemented a noticeable change to how Sims determine who they speak with on a lot. Now Sims will generate preferred speaking with familiar Sims they already have a good rapport with, and Sims are less likely to engage with strangers spontaneously. So basically, all wrapped up, they're trying to say that Sims are less likely to just walk up into your conversation and start chit-chatting now, which has been something going on since the game launched. So, a decade later, they're finally fixing this, but I'm trying not to complain about things that they're trying to fix, because at least they're trying to fix them for free. And then it says the animals can be assigned to a animal shed after moving the household to a new lot. They no longer get stuck in Sims household, which has been a problem for me in my legacy save, like the short legacy save, for so long. Since generation 3 or 4, and I'm going into generation 8. So that is also a problem that's been around for a while. And then we have Sims autonomy improvement. So Sims autonomy is one of our quality of life team's key focuses areas based on the community's feedback, and this update delivers on 3 of our top autonomy issues: Sims socializing with strangers, which we just talked about, excessive flirting, and Sims using certain objects obsessively. We'll continue to watch players' feedback surrounding autonomy. Okay, so in the base game, we've addressed an issue where Sims obsessively flirt with each other. Well, honestly, I didn't mind that. I really didn't mind that, but I also do a lot of flirting in my Sims gameplay, so I guess that's why it didn't bother me. And then we also have, we've heard your feedback and want to address the Sim using computers and phones too often. We've added a few new preferences to the base game, including likes phones, likes computers, dislikes phone, dislikes computers. And if you don't want your Sims to autonomously use these objects, please give them the dislike phones or dislike computer preference. If you like them to use the objects more often, select the appropriate preferences. And honestly, I actually really appreciate this, because I wish this had been a thing when I started my Grim Sim series. Now I only have 1 episode left now, and it's just to wrap it up, so I don't see the point in going in now, but I wanted to not use technology in that game, and they just kept pulling out their phones, and it was breaking the whole trying to be in older times. So I actually really appreciate that one. And then the other one, if Sims autonomously using their phone, they will receive a cooldown on not wanting to do this again for another 6 sim hours. That actually is really helpful. So basically they're saying that's for regular Sims, and then if it's shown that they like phones or dislike phones, they'll use it less or more depending on those preferences. And then if autonomously using the computer, they'll receive a cooldown for half a sim day. Okay, so basically the same thing, but for half a sim day instead of 6 hours. And then we have Troll the Forums. Computer interaction has been added to the same cooldown time used for computer interactions. So that's just for the Troll the Forums interaction specifically. And then we kind of have the same thing, but for the dollhouse, at the same time, half half a sim day. So basically, if your sim is angry, you can have your sim destroy the dollhouse, and sometimes they'll do it autonomously. So they made it where they will not do that so often because you keep having to fix the dollhouse and it's really annoying. But then they also made it to where certain traits, evil, hate children, mean, hot-headed, will autonomously decide to destroy dollhouses while angry. Before this update was behavior can occur to any sim that felt angry or dazed. So now they have to have the evil, hate children, mean, or hot-headed trait because it actually does upset the children when you break the dollhouse. And then it says, if a sim autonomously mixes a drink, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for a sim day. So a whole sim day on that. And then it says, if a sim autonomously swims, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to do this autonomously again for some time. The cooldown does not exist for non-active sims on pool venues or during pool parties or birthday party events when swimming is a preferred interaction in getaway clubs, small businesses, or if the sim is a merfolk or plant sim. So basically, unless it's those situations, your sim will not just autonomously swim over and over and over again. I guess they're trying to reduce how much sims accidentally drown, but it's the Sims. They're supposed to drown. And then we have, if a sim autonomously plays violin, they'll receive a cooldown for a whole sim day. And then the same thing about the getaway clubs and whatnot. And they also added sims who are music lovers or violins will do it more than others. And then we have the same thing but for guitar. And then we have the same thing for chess. That's for a sim day. And then we have sims dancing. Unless they like dancing or a dance machine, they will get a cooldown for dancing autonomously, which honestly I never mind it sims just dancing autonomously, but it did happen a lot. And then it says we're reducing how often a sim considers turning the radio on, so that as well as dancing, just turning the radio on in general. But honestly, I think it's okay as long as they're doing something they can listen to the radio and do what they're doing. I don't mind that. And then through particular a staple of sim culture, we've added a cooldown for autonomous push-ups, sit-ups, and stretches. Now only sims who are energized at the gym, venue, or sims with the active trait will consider doing it autonomously, which honestly was a little annoying for me. But again, that's been a problem since the game came out. And then we've added a cooldown for foodie sims watching the culinary training videos on television. That's kind of annoying. It makes sense that they would do that. But then it says, if a child sim autonomously uses the spaceship or jungle ship, it will receive a cooldown on not wanting to do this autonomously again for a sim day. This cooldown does not exist for non-active household sims or when it's activity at getaway clubs or small businesses. So apparently your kid just won't play on the jungle gym or spaceship anymore or all the time. And I didn't really see it being a problem with the spaceship jungle gym as much as the actual playground equipment, because it is a real problem. When I was playing the last event, I had a kid and she would not stop playing on the playground equipment. It was just I had to pretty much be on her at all times, and she would even cancel the interactions that I was telling her to do to play on the playground. But it says specifically the spaceship jungle gym, so I don't know if that fixed the other one as well and they're just not saying it, but we'll see. And it says if a sim autonomously plays with a lump of clay, they will receive a cooldown for a while. It doesn't say how long, it just says for a while. So that's kind of all the cooldowns and the autonomy improvements. Now let's go to the autonomy improvements for the packs. So we have, if a sim autonomously plays the soccer ball, they'll receive a cooldown for not wanting to do this for a while in Discovery University. Cottage living, it's cross stitch. In Love Struck, sims will no longer consider playing Who's What's Up party game while in the middle of writing a book or being on the computer. And then Adventure Waits, if a sim autonomously plays with a paper airplane, they'll receive a cooldown. In Spa Day, if a sim autonomously uses the yoga mat, they will receive a cooldown on wanting to autonomously right away, as if it doesn't exist for the high maintenance or sims who like wellness. And then for movie hangout. A cooldown has been added to the popcorn popper that's been used by Sim. That has been a problem since movie hangout came out, so I'm glad they are apparently fixing that. And that looks like it is all of the autonomy improvements. But then we also have some other type of bug fix improvements. So we have pet and animal fixes. So with our top community issues around animals and pets, we fixed a few other bugs in this category to provide better overall experience. So animals with animal shed, chicken coop, mini goats, and sheep no longer will be multiplied. This was happening when the animals were placed in Sim's inventory and then back in the world after the Sim had moved their household. That actually happened to me a lot, as well as the other thing we were talking about earlier with animals. And now we have just general bug fixes. So these are just the regular bug fixes that kind of just cover everything else in the game from base game to packs as well. So in base game, we have the Sims with the unflirty trait will no longer get the ick when hugged, and then placing a plant on a wall and then returning it to a Sim's inventory will no longer result in a simulation error. So as for base game, in seasons, we have flowers will no longer get stuck midair while crafting a flower arrangement. For rent, we have the due inspection and maintenance interaction is now available on actual and working broken objects in the tenant's house for the landlord Sims. So that's appreciative, as I am playing with For Rent right now in one of my legacy saves as a landlord. And then we have in Life and Death, we adjusted the design elements on some of our swatches on a rug. So apparently we have some rug swatch fixes. And then we have in Royalty and Legacy, there was an issue where the updated family trees was causing the wrong connections and overlapping. It's now been fixed. So more family tree updates. That was a whole adventure we went on too, going between emergency hot fixes for the family tree. So more family tree updates. Fitting. We are fixing a crash that occurs when resuming the game after deleting the cat household in Andorian, and the Andorians Vladimir is no longer reversed. All right, and then parenthood, we have a whole paragraph here. Child and teen Sims who grew up in the same household but weren't related could get the other super sibling relationship despite not being related, and then could later romance each other. Because we didn't want to prevent stories where children could have possibly been in the same household at one point while not related but end up in a relationship, we decided to fix this, renaming the relationships to childhood besties and childhood frenemy. So that was a whole problem where they were having bad romance relationships, like inappropriate, I should say, not bad, inappropriate. So they try to fix that. And then in Strangerville, we have there should no longer be a script call fail error when the plant containment cell is on the lot and the player tries to place another object. All right, now it looks like we have some cast and build mode tagging updates. So basically we have all makeup in the everyday category has been added to both hot and cold weather. We've sorted 43 existing items under the kids decoration category. Various lights have been sorted. The cute critter basket is now sorted under our kids decorations. We have a red lipstick appears to be more accurate. A skirt is no longer only for the masculine frame Sims. A pencil holder object has been additionally sorted to the clutter object. A working diaper storage has been moved to kid furniture. The bow object is now under activities and skills. Martian soul is now out in the miscellaneous category. The sweet pea and firehouse brick wall patterns are now sorted in masonry and sliding. I noticed that there are masonry. Since the Prosperious Moonlight Right Side Up game, Gnome and Bob the Butler Fancy Sculpture have been removed from their previous category, are now in sculptures. Alright, and then for multi-pack, we have a large amount of love seats and benches properly being identified as benches, because basically they didn't have enough stuff tagged as benches, and the stuff you would want to put in like a park or something that required a certain amount of benches just wouldn't count as a bench. So apparently they tagged a bunch of new benches. When in Lovestruck, we adjusted the Lovestruck beard to swatch this to display as the correct order, and then we now have a jean that a masculine fashion choice is now has that option for that jean in KSM. And then in Life and Death, the posterior paneling and pattern posteriorless paneling now are sorted into the paneling category. When Enchanted by Nature, a wild uncanny cane is now in roof sculptures and outdoor plants. Backyard stuff we no longer has yellow and a crate as a cast filter when it is a pink T-boat neck. And then Machino, the librarian bookshelf, and the I'm So Shiny surface have been removed from sculptures. Holiday celebration. So the lighting objects are now under lamps. The holiday snowman and the pre-shrunk tree lights are now under outdoor lighting. Kitchen clutter. Items from the kitchen clutter pack are now visible when sorting by the pack filter and look under miscellaneous decorations in the build mode room view. The Forever Friends event stuff will no longer appear for a masculine frame sim. It's a specific tank top. And then the Nature Calling event, the Cove Stone, the round Cove Stone, the flat, and the Cove Stone cluster objects now are all sorted in outdoor plants and in rocks. And that is everything that came with the patch. It did come with some stuff for modders if like you have mods that you need it to update for this patch. It is kind of showing you what's changed in the coding and whatnot. They have been putting these in the patch notes recently, and I feel like that's always helpful and whatnot. But that is everything that came in the patch notes, including the marketplace. But before we jump into the marketplace, because that's the main thing I want to show off, I am kind of tempted to go in and look at the bench category. I might do that just to load into game all the way anyways. But before we do all of that, real quick, I do want to share some stuff that has come out alongside this chaotic rollout of the marketplace and maker packs. And the first thing is actually that they have partnered with Lofi Girl to create an album basically. And Lofi Girl is a YouTuber that is known for like having music constantly going, streaming and whatnot. It's like 24/7 music, and they have made a album that has 25 songs that the Sim is partnered with. So it is available on all of her streaming platforms. I'm assuming the Sims streaming platforms. I haven't actually listened to it yet, but from what I've heard, people actually really like it. They think that it's really well done. They just hate that possibly EA could be getting money. I'm not going to actually play the music just because I don't want this video to get banned in like certain countries. I normally don't worry about it too much, especially if it was like a trailer or something. I would normally just play the music, but I'm not gonna do something that's not like a trailer or whatnot and still get flagged for it. There's like no reason for that, but I am curious what it sounds like because I feel like she normally does some pretty good stuff. And then the day before I'm recording this, they came out with another article on the EA forums, and I haven't seen anyone talk about this too much, so I don't know if it has broken the game or not, but it isn't something that is coming out to all people. So basically they are releasing a early access memory boost, and basically it's a new game option where you can set up the new memory boost that brings performance improvements to The Sims 4. It optimizes memory usage, reduces lag, improves frame rates, and helps prevent memory related crashes. So basically it's just supposed to like boost the performance, and it says we are inviting players to try it out and share feedback. Besides just improving the performance and making it to where it doesn't take up as much memory in your game. I don't really understand why you would have to turn this off once it's in the game, but they have it to where you can either have it be automatic, disable it, or enable it. They will have it to where if you do enable it, that they will have at least one stay untagged, so you can always go back to a save file that doesn't have the memory boost. But from what I am reading, I don't want to say I don't see where it could go wrong, because I feel like if I say that, it's just gonna be like, everything has gone wrong. I don't know how to feel about it, because one, it's in early access, so not everyone's getting it, so it tells me that this is kind of how they're testing it, which makes me nervous. I feel like that's why I'm feeling about this. Like, I don't quite understand what could go wrong, but I'm also nervous that something could go wrong because it's The Sims 4, and that's just how it works. Every time they give us something new, something breaks. But I also want to know how they choose who to give it to, because apparently it's not going to be in everyone's games option. It's just going to be in some. But this is just saying how to activate it or whatnot. This is showing off how the recovery saves will be. It's still showing, I think, 5 files, and then you just have the original one not have the memory boost. You can disable it, you can enable it, or have it on the automatic setting, which I guess it would be the smartest to leave it on automatic unless something is horribly wrong with it, and then you would disable it. But I guess maybe this could be good for older save files is what I'm thinking. Like, maybe you can make older save files just run a little better. Maybe if you're like me and like 8 generations into a save file or something. But they do have it to where you can check in cheats if it's on. You don't even have to go into the game option. So basically you can turn on cheats and then just type in version, and if you see FPB, then it actually is activated. And ensure you're not running DirectX version arguments, so apparently you don't want to do that. So here is how to turn that off. And that is pretty much all the news. Like I said, I do just want to go into the game and check out a few things. One, of course, starting out with the marketplace, and then there was a couple of things I saw that I wanted to see if I had like the memory boosts and what they now categorize as benches, quote unquote. So I'm going to load into my game for the first time since I updated it, and I will see if it crashes, and we'll see if we can load into a save file and save and exit to the main menu without it crashing and check out the marketplace. Well, my screen wasn't black when I loaded in. It hasn't crashed yet, but we're going to continue into this journey and just see how it goes. But when I loaded in, the first thing it said was custom content issue is fixed. We know custom content is important to you. The recent issue has now been fixed, and all CCs should load and now work properly. So it was such a big deal. They had to put a patch note when you loaded into the game. Very interesting. Yet they said only 2% of people had this issue. Okay. But like I said, I made sure all my mods were up to date and whatnot. We're going to check this out. So let's check out the new, automatically disable my mods. And it's giving me a for rent expansion. Wait, what is going on? The game has just been updated, so all my mods have been disabled. That was my bad for putting them back in before I opened the game. I did want to open the game the first time with you guys. I'll re-enable them. Why am I getting the for rent pop-up in Life and Death? What is going on? Now that I have the marketplace. Okay. I don't know what was up with that, because that wasn't all the packs, so I don't know why it chose those to like give me pop-ups. Well, something weird happened. Alright, well, I did right quick actually want to go ahead. Let's turn my mods back on and we will restart it, but it does look like I have the memory boost. So I did get it. Normally I don't get it when people are in early access and only some people get it, but apparently today I got it. I'm curious just to start a new file and see if it automatically gives the memory boost. I am curious of that, but we're going to go ahead and enable custom content, and then I'm going to close my game. So I don't know yet if there's a way when you're like physically playing in the game. I know we're in the game now, but like when you're in a save file playing in your game, if there's a way to access the marketplace, I will look when we load into the game. But the obvious way that they have made it to access the marketplace, and the main way, is this new marketplace button where the store used to be next to the home button, and then when there's an event going on, there's an event button right here. You press this to access the marketplace. As far as other stuff that they have changed on the home screen, we now have a download manager button. So basically they have made it to where you can now download content into your game while playing your game, which is actually something I appreciate. That's not something that they've ever done before, but now I'm not going to be buying you more content, so it doesn't matter. And then, of course, if you are buying content, you can purchase moolah. So you have your moolah count here, and then an easy way to, buy moolah and give them your money. They want that as easy as possible. Other than that, everything is still the same. We have the family here, your load into game, your gallery, your play scenario, all your news. All that is still the same. It's just up here has changed, and they added the marketplace button. So I haven't looked at the marketplace yet, and I'm probably never going to press on this marketplace button ever again on purpose. So let's go ahead and do it just once for the experience. But like I said, I'm not buying anything. So let's go to marketplace. All right. So there is several categories here. So we have discover, browse, my collections, and get moolah. Honestly, I know I'm jumping ahead, but let's go to the get moolah first, because I am kind of curious what all the prices are. I think I've seen them before, but I just want to look at them again. So 200 is $2.50, 500 is $5, 1000 is $10, 2600 is $25, and 5500 is $50. Okay, so they're trying to market it like if you get like the two higher ones, you get like 100 or 500 extra to what it would cost if you bought 1000 or lower. But all of these are way overpriced. I mean, I guess it kind of is based off the fact that they would put a kit for 500. I'm assuming that's what they based this off of, because you're getting kits and maker packs with this. So if you were to get one for $5, that would be the right price. But I still think even from there that maybe the $10 should be more than 1,000. I feel like the 200 should honestly just be $2. This, I guess, would make sense at 500, but then I feel like this stuff needs to be worth more, like $10, and you're only getting 1,000 moolah, when like I'm assuming a kit would be that. So it just seems like you're not like, they're trying to make it seem like you're saving your money when you go up, but you're really not saving that much money when you go up. I feel like there needs to be a more dramatic incline. I guess I can kind of discover more if I go ahead and browse stuff here and kind of get an idea for what they have pricing wise. It looks like if I own something, I'm not going to be able to look at the price of it. That's actually really annoying. It looks like when you press low to high, it automatically chooses the ones you buy in cash. And then if you go to moolah, there's a specific one for moolah, low to high. What's the highest you can get in moolah? Okay, so kits are the most expensive thing you can get in moolah. Okay, so apparently you can't buy game packs, expansion packs, and stuff packs with moolah. I just thought with the way they worded it, you could, but apparently kits are the highest. So I'm assuming 500. Yeah, that's where they based the 500 from. But still, like, let's see. If we go, apparently the free holiday pack now counts for something as moolah, so it's free. So I don't know why they're counting it as moolah, but ooh, that's interesting. So actually this kit is cheaper than any of the other kits. I'm assuming it's 200, unless, is that kit I got for free? There was one kit that was free at one point. That may have been it. Okay, hold on, that makes sense. Okay, but a lip contour kit is 200. A power set kit is 200. And we have a clothing kit for 300. I keep saying kit, but maker pack. So like a clothing for 300, a shoe for 300. So it looks like the more targeted ones are 300. So the build kits are more around 400. Looks like most of the build kits are 400. I keep saying kits, maker packs. Oh my god, I corrected myself and then kept saying it wrong. Okay, so it looks like the kits are the most expensive. So if you want a whole kit, you would spend the whole 500. But this is where they get you, because all of this stuff is 200, 300, 400. So none of it is really like, if you're wanting like 2 of these, you would want 800 points. But then to get 800 points, you have to buy the whole 1,000, which is $10. Yeah, they're always just going to make it to where you have to get a little bit more for what you want. I don't know, unless you're just like getting a whole kit. I don't like that. Like, it doesn't make total illogical sense. Like, it does have some logic to it. I don't like it. I feel like you aren't getting your money's worth. Like, I honestly feel like you're not with how these are priced. Like, and I don't like the fact that you're always gonna have to get a little bit more depending if you want to get multiple things. Because depending on what you get, you're gonna get different prices and whatnot. I don't know. I don't like it. But you can still buy everything here. But the kits and the maker packs, you do have to get with Moolah. And then also we have a filter thing, so you can filter build mode, create a sim, maker packs. You can do all packs, or you could just do expansion, just stuff, just game packs, or just kits. And then you can also choose by theme, apparently, which is architecture and decor, everyday activities, fashion and style, pets, career and life, family and friends, outdoor activities, and supernatural and fantasy. And then you can also choose for stuff that's on sale or free. I do appreciate them highlighting what's on sale. And then under my collection, it just shows all the stuff that you already own. And this is where the pack selection button is. Oh, so you literally just click right on it. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that. Let's collect out of that. And then manage storage. I guess that just shows storage shown for marketplace content only. So apparently you can only have so much marketplace content. That's interesting. I wonder how much stuff takes up. I'm really curious about that, but I don't know how to tell that. All right, and then of course you can choose between the different packs and whatnot. And I don't have any maker packs, so I can't click on that, but I can click on game packs, stuff packs, kits, and free. And it takes me to those categories. And then of course you have browse, and discover is kind of highlighting stuff here for you to get. So apparently even some of the maker kits are worth 500, which means they're the same price as a kit. So I really hope that means that they have the same amount of content, because if not, that would be kind of messed up too. All right, I think I've spent enough time in the marketplace, honestly. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can load into create a sim. We'll open the gallery, put a sim in, and then we'll load into the game and check those last couple of things I want to see. So as cute as this sim is, I do want to pull one off my gallery real quick, because I do just want to look at the gallery and see if anything changed. And it looks like the categorization did. So we now have expansion packs, game packs, stuff packs, instead of it just being one big list. And then we have kits, but none of them are checked, which I don't understand. Like, why are they not automatically checked if I have that? That is so weird. 'Cause I didn't disable any packs. I know I didn't. Besides the one I already had. Yeah, I definitely didn't disable any hits. The only thing I have disabled hit-wise in my game is the SpongeBob ones. I pretty much just like uninstalled those. Let's see. Oh my god, how many freaking kits are there? I just wanted to see. It does still say that I could check off SpongeBob, even though I don't. Is checked off in my settings. I did uninstall those. I don't understand why everything else isn't checked though. Alright, anyways, that was just bothering me, and I was just like wanting to rant about it. But let's go ahead and sort by mine. We can just get a household. That is one sim. Let's see, who do you want to play with today? Oh my gosh, it's the same sim that was just loaded into the game automatically. Maybe we can play with the sim I did the homeless challenge with. That makes sense. Content not installed. Is this saying, is that why it was unchecked? Do we not have my kits why aren't my kits installed? I didn't uninstall my kits. Is this a new glitch? Is this a new glitch that came with the oh no. Okay, I don't see anything missing from her. Wait, hold on. Let me look at her other categories. Is there actually anything missing? Because I don't, okay, it's saying that like the kits aren't in here, but I think they are. Hold on, let's go to packs and filter. Yeah, they're here. I think it's a glitch. I think they're just being like, oh, you don't have these packs, but you actually do. Okay, well that's a weird glitch, but we can go ahead and use her real quick, and we'll just label this as tester and load into a new save file, make sure it works, and then we're gonna go into build mode and see what now counts as a bench. Okay, so I always choose to play in summer for these type of things, and we can go ahead and put her in a starter home. Let's go ahead and go to game options, other. Okay, let's enable it. Oh no, your game will have to restart. Okay, never mind. We'll do automatic then. So you can't change it without reloading your game. But with it on automatic, the loading seems are still laggy, but this seems to not be quite as bad. But let's go ahead and maybe just have her go here. Yeah. The actual gameplay seems to not be that bad. So I know we just got here, but I'm going to go ahead and real quick actually go back into Manage Worlds, and we are going to go to a park area, and we are going to go ahead and try to look at all of the benches, because I know it'll specifically pull up benches because it has that category under the requirements. So let's go ahead and go to bench, and okay, they said they categorized more stuff by benches, and they did a few, but not near as much as it made it seem like. It really could have more than that. Honestly, I really think it could. I really think it could. That's a little disappointing there. But with that, I think the other thing, I don't see a button in build mode to go to the marketplace. I guess I could have checked that when I was in play mode with her. Oh, well, we have this. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, so it's the same button as the store used to have. It's just the marketplace, and you have to be in live mode or on the home screen. You can't be in build mode. You can't be in create a sim. Okay, so that works. And then I guess from here, there's really nothing else I wanted to look at in game. The patch notes kind of covered most things pretty thoroughly. Let's just go ahead and go to the home screen and see if it did that. So I'm actually going to save a couple of times just because I want it to have multiple save files. So if we could just go here and maybe watch TV for a minute. There we go. And boom, bam. Oh, and she got on her phone autonomously. I'm kind of curious if she gets back on it because she's watching TV, and normally they just like get on it constantly while they're watching TV, but no, she's not came back on it. Okay, so test a little bit of autonomy there, and then we can save once more, and then I will exit to main menu and save, and that should give us multiple saves in the file, and we'll see if it automatically added the memory boost or not. Alright, so if we go to load game and we go to the save file, I'm assuming we have to go to recover save. It did not automatically get the memory boost, so it wasn't playing with the memory boost. I don't know what you have to do to trigger it, if it's on automatic. If it's on enable, I'm assuming it would apply to a new save file, but I don't want to load out of my game after enabling it and test it any further, so I think I'm just gonna in that there, because I feel like I tested to see if it went on automatically and it didn't. You just have to enable it. I just don't feel like playing through and enabling it and trying to explain the difference when I feel like I'm not that good at explaining this one. So I'll just leave it there. But with that, I think I'm going to leave this video here. I feel like the rollout of the marketplace was insane. I do feel like there is a glitch going on with it not like saying that you don't have your kits even though you do. That's the only glitch I really saw that was new that I haven't had before since this update, or these 3 updates I should say. And I did wait or more to update my game, so sorry I was a little slow on getting the patch notes, like reviewing the patch notes, but I do feel like it was worth waiting because that would have just been a whole headache to deal with that as planned. Like, I held off on the marketplace at first, like the update with the marketplace, because I felt like it was gonna be like kind of glitchy, and within like 24 hours everyone was like, all my CC is broken, and then there was an emergency patch 2 days later and the whole game was broken. I was like, no, I'm waiting. So I just went ahead and reviewed it all in one video. But I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I will not be using the marketplace, and I think it brought way too much chaos into this when it rolled in. But if you are interested, you did see how it works in this video. But for now, guys, I'm gonna end this one here. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that awesome stuff because you guys are awesome people. I'll see you next time. All right, bye.